talk today about a couple of flags that played a big part in our American history. They're pretty interesting flags. I've been studying history since I could barely read, and history has always fascinated me. And the flags that I'm about to show you today are pretty fascinating with themselves. The first flag I'd like to show you is the flag that we're all familiar with. It's called the Betsy Ross flag. Now, we all know the story about how George Washington and Robert Morris and John Ross approached Betsy Ross with the idea of making a flag for the Continental Army. Well, we're not really familiar with those. A lot of people don't know this, but George Washington had asked Betsy Ross if she could make a bunch of flags like this, a whole large quantity of flags for the Continental Army within a certain amount of time. And she said she could do it, but the design that George Washington showed her had a six-pointed star. She said that the only way she can do it is if they made a five-pointed star, which is a lot easier to cut out, and he agreed to it, and that's how we came up with the five-pointed star. And this flag, of course, was designed and made in 1777, and we don't know for sure if Betsy Ross was the first one to make the American flag or not, but it's been passed down through generation to generation of the Ross family that she was the first, and that's about all we can have to go by. On that, there's really no written proof, but the next flag I'd like to show you is this flag. It's called the Gadsden flag. This flag was designed in 1775 for the United States Navy, and it was also used by the Continental Marines. Now, the idea of putting the rattlesnake on the flag actually came about from a saying that Benjamin Franklin had come up with in one of his newspapers that he printed out, the Gazette. He once stated that since England was sending us their prisoners, because they had a habit of sending us their prisoners from England over to the colonial states, and he said, well, since they're going to do that, why don't we send them our rattlesnakes? And so that's how they came up with the rattlesnake on the flag. That flag right there, the Gadsden flag, is actually a flag that has been adopted by the Tea Party today. And it's a pretty famous flag. We all know that flag. We've all seen it in history books and throughout, our education. We've seen that flag and the Betsy Ross flag. Now, this flag here is the one flag that really not a whole lot of people are familiar with. This is the Bennington flag. This flag here, according to the Revolutionary War and beyond, it's considered to be a very popular Revolutionary War flag. The story goes that this flag here was carried in battle in the Battle of Bennington, Vermont in 1777. And it was also said that Nathaniel Fillmore, grandfather of Millard Fillmore, our 13th president, had carried this flag off the battlefield and passed it down through generation to generation of the Fillmore family. Millard Fillmore had possession of the original flag, and for a while, that's one legend. Another legend says that this flag wasn't actually produced until 1825 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence. And another legend yet states that it was actually used during the Centennial celebration in 1876. for the Revolutionary War and the celebration of it. It's famous because of the 76 in the blue field and the 7-pointed stars, which you don't really see too often. The 7-pointed stars was actually the common star, the design of the star back in the colonial period before the Revolution. According to Virtual Vermont, the construction of this flag was actually it had to have been made after 1820s because of the fact that it was made out of cotton. Cotton really didn't come out until after the 1800s. They didn't really use cotton until then. According to Grace Cooper, curator of the Smithsonian Institute, this flag, the original flag was made out of cotton. It was made out of 100% cotton. And they also used dyes in the original flag. And the colored dyes really didn't come out until after the 1800s. So it kind of adds to the myth a little bit, the mystery. Well, we do know, though, that this flag does stand for the Revolutionary War. The time period, the 76, stands for the Declaration of Independence. And the original flag itself today is displayed in the Bennington Museum in Vermont. This is just a reproduction. I wish it was the original. We do know, though, that no matter how many myths, how many legends that go behind each and every one of these flags here, we do know one thing, that these flags do stand for our independence in our country. It stands for it takes us back to the history of our nation, the beginning of our nation. So the study of these flags really kind of helps us understand the independence and our revolution and the history behind it. Thank you for watching.